He started the war. He sold it to Washington and called it a chance to reshape the Middle East. Now, as the US negotiates the endgame with Iran, Netanyahu is out of the room entirely. The man who helped start the confrontation may no longer control how it ends. The man who lit the fuse is no longer holding the match. He pushed hard for the strikes. He sold the plan in the Situation Room. He called it a chance to change the Middle East. But Israeli defense officials claim Israel is almost entirely out of the loop. Now, as the United States negotiates an end to the war with Iran, Benjamin Netanyahu is reportedly being kept out of the room entirely. The New York Times reported on May 23rd, citing two unnamed Israeli defense officials, that Israel is almost entirely out of the loop in the talks between Washington and Tehran. The officials said Israel has been forced to seek information on the negotiations through roundabout channels, including separate diplomatic connections and its own intelligence sources inside Iran. The report follows an Axios account from May 20th, in which Israeli sources said Netanyahu's hair was on fire after a phone call with Trump over a letter of intent being drafted by mediators to end the war and open a month-long formal negotiation period. The proposed talks would cover Iran's nuclear program and the reopening of the Strait of Hormuz. Two Israeli sources told Axios there is clear disagreement between Trump and Netanyahu over how to handle Iran going forward. Trump's own public comments suggested he is not losing sleep over that disagreement.
Prime Minister Netanyahu about Iran and how long to hold off on strikes.
He's fine. He'll do whatever I want him to do. He's a very good man. He'll do whatever I want him to do, and he's a great guy. To me, he's a great guy. Don't forget, he was a wartime prime minister, and he's not treated right in Israel, in my opinion. I'm right now at 99% in Israel. I could run for prime minister, so maybe after I do this, I'll go to Israel, run for prime minister. I had a poll this morning. I'm 99%, so that's good. But no, he's a wartime prime minister, and I just don't think they treat him well.
Trump also told reporters this week that the negotiations are right on the borderline between war and peace. He said he was giving Iran a few days to respond. There is one assurance Israel says it has received. A senior Israeli official told Ynet that Trump told Netanyahu he would not sign any final agreement with Iran unless Tehran dismantles its nuclear program and removes all enriched uranium from its territory. The US is also said to be updating Israel on negotiations toward a memorandum of understanding over the Strait of Hormuz. The assurance may be genuine, but the decision, it appears, is no longer Netanyahu's to make. Trump was supposed to be at his son's wedding. Instead, he is at the White House, meeting with his war council, and the world is watching to see what comes next. The current crisis did not begin overnight. The United States and Iran have spent weeks trapped in tense indirect negotiations after the earlier phase of the war devastated military sites, disrupted oil routes, and rattled global energy markets. Two US officials told Axios that Trump convened his senior national security team on May 22nd to discuss a potential resumption of the war with Iran. Vice President Vance, Secretary of War Pete Hegseth, CIA Director John Ratcliffe, and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles were in the room. A source close to the American president told Axios he has raised the possibility of a final decisive military operation after which he could declare victory and end the war. No decision has been made, but the signals are unmistakable. Military and intelligence personnel have cancelled their Memorial Day weekend plans. Trump himself has abandoned plans to spend the weekend at his golf property in Bedminster, New Jersey, and will not attend his son Don Jr.'s wedding.
While I very much wanted to be with my son Don Jr. and the newest member of the Trump family, his soon-to-be wife, Bettina, circumstances pertaining to government and my love for the United States of America do not allow me to do so. I feel it is important for me to remain in Washington, D.C. at the White House during this important period of time. Congratulations to Don and Bettina.
Iran's foreign ministry confirmed talks were ongoing, but said a deal was not close. Iran's state media reported that Pakistan Army Chief Asim Munir held talks with Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi in Tehran, as Islamabad stepped up diplomatic efforts to help mediate between Iran and the United States. At the same time, as Trump weighs another round of aggression, the IRGC has warned that any renewed US or Israeli military action would expand the conflict beyond the Middle East. An Iranian military source was more specific, telling the state-affiliated Tasnim news agency that Iran's armed forces have prepared new scenarios for what it called any stupidity from the enemy, including new targets, new equipment, and what it described as trans-regional fronts.
The Iranian armed forces are fully monitoring the situation and have prepared new scenarios for confronting the US and its allies in case the enemy conducts any stupidity under any excuse. In the event of excessive demand, excuses, and possible military action against Iran, the United States will experience its third major punishment in less than a year in a more specific and new way. We are men of war, and you will see our power on the battlefield, not in hollow statements and virtual pages.
The next move could determine whether this crisis ends with a deal or with another wave of missiles across the Middle East. The Middle East is once again edging towards dangerous escalation, as Iran's Revolutionary Guards issue one of their strongest warnings yet to the United States and Israel. Tehran now says that if attacks on Iran are repeated, the next war will spread far beyond the region and strike targets the enemy cannot imagine. The warning comes amid rising tensions, threats of renewed military action, and growing fears that diplomacy may be rapidly running out of time. Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps released a statement on May 20th directly addressing what it called the American Zionist enemy, accusing Washington and Israel of failing to learn from previous confrontations with the Islamic Republic.
Although they attacked us with the full capabilities of 2 armies, the most expensive armies in the world, we did not bring all the capacities of the Islamic Revolution into action against them. But now, if aggression against Iran is repeated, the regional war that had been promised will this time be drawn beyond the region, and our crushing blows will lay you in black dust in places you cannot imagine.
The statement was issued under a Quranic verse calling for fighting against the leaders of disbelief, while the IRGC insisted that Iran would demonstrate its strength on the battlefield, not through hollow statements. The warning comes as United States President Donald Trump has repeatedly threatened renewed military strikes against Iran if ongoing indirect diplomatic discussions fail to produce an agreement over Tehran's nuclear program.
We have to make sure that Iran doesn't get a nuclear weapon. All of the things that you see me fighting for so hard. And it's always tough. You know, they come to the table, they're begging to make a deal, because they're begging to make a deal. I hope we don't have to do the war, but we may have to give them another big hit. We may have to give them another big hit. I'm not sure yet. You'll know very soon. But how do you feel when you're negotiating? You're winning every point. So I'm in the middle of a negotiation. I'm saying you cannot have a nuclear weapon. And it comes over the wire that the Democrats want to stop Trump from further negotiations. They want to stop Trump from, if he has to, giving them another slap. They want to have a nuclear weapon to blow up the Middle East and to blow up, frankly, the world. It's not going to happen.
Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi also escalated rhetoric, warning that any future war with Iran would bring many more surprises for the United States.
Months after initiation of war on Iran, US Congress acknowledges loss of dozens of aircraft worth billions. Our powerful armed forces are confirmed as first to strike down a touted F-35. With lessons learned and knowledge we gained, return to war will feature many more surprises.
Jordan, meanwhile, announced it had shot down a drone of unknown origin in its airspace on Wednesday. No casualties were reported. Though the Iran ceasefire has mostly held, drones have lately been launched from Iraq towards Gulf countries, including Saudi Arabia and Kuwait, apparently by Iran's allies. Also amid the war in Iran, Turkey said that Germany would send it a Patriot missile defense system for a 6-month deployment from June to replace a system deployed as part of NATO measures in southeast Turkey to bolster air defenses. In March, Ankara said a US Patriot system was deployed to southeast Turkey near a NATO radar base in the face of missile threats from Iran. NATO defenses shot down 4 ballistic missiles launched from Iran during the war.